Hey folks, welcome back to Chaotic TV for this Game 2 of Group A selected Dreamhack Winter 2012 replays from Chaotic TV. We are going to begin on Ohana in the top left with the Blue Terran playing for Team Quantic. He is the STC under the state ID.
And spawning across from him, currently down by a game in this best of three, this is Team Liquid's Tasia.
You know why I thought the STC wasn't Korean for a second in the last game is because when I looked up state to make sure that this was actually the STC, it's not a Korean. So I looked up a Protoss who's not Korean.
Yeah, that non-Korean is definitely a Protoss. This is definitely not a Protoss player.
So we saw the TVT in the last game was heavily influenced by just the number of upgrades that the STC had over Tasia, and the lack of Tasia's ability to get those upgrades was induced by the STC's continual harassment at his attempted expansions.
Yeah, we saw at the 30-minute mark of the game when it ended. Tasia still didn't have infantry armor level 3. It was just, about a quarter of the way through being finished.
And the STC had that fifth base already ready. We see barracks first and then gas first come out. Gas coming out much quicker for the STC, and barracks first coming out from Tasia.
Yeah, that earlier gas is just going to let him get a little bit of a tech edge, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that come with more upgrades again. It worked out solo for him last game. I just can't see him not doing it this game.
Something to remember for every mirror match. And
every match in general, upgrades pay for themselves really quickly.
They do. They are a heavy investment early in the game, so that's why a lot of people tend to try to cut that corner, but they are so important that a little mineral steel coming from Tasia, or at least an attempted one. He's doing a lot of micro with that SCV, getting nothing done. And the first Marine to come out of the STC is targeted already on that SCV.
We're going to see one base play over the STC here. This is something we haven't seen in many of these Dreamhack games.
Yeah, he's getting the wall off so he can be safe at home.
Here we see Tasia. He's just about ready to make a command center for himself. We already have a reactor and a factory coming out to the STC, though, with that earlier gap.
We have Quanix, the STC, have an SCV in the far right of the map at the 3 o'clock position, getting ready to proxy something.
Proxy a starport, I would imagine. He's going to practice some Banshees.
Banshees. Oh, is Tasia going to spot this? He's already got his SCV queued, and then he's actually going to just straight move it up here. He's going to see it. Yeah. Wow, that is a good spot by Tasia.
That's actually not really, I don't think a proxy Banshee with the positioning. We'd have to lift it up and move it.
It might have been a medevac.
Medevac, with these planes coming in.
And he's going to have to cancel it.
No, he's got a Marine coming in, and Tasia backs off after killing the SCV that's making it.
And another SCV is sent out to finish its dirty work. Tasia right now a little bit supply blocked. He's going to finish it up with a supply depot, and soon his command center will give him a bit more of the edge. But we do see the economic play coming out of Tasia as opposed to Quanix, the STC one basing.
Yeah, this is really weird. You don't very often see a one base into a proxy type play. Also, with that said, he does go straight into an expansion afterwards. He just wants to get this proxy drop off. He's going to bring these Hellions around the front and just make sure there's no really fast third for whatever reason. And then he's going to pick up this ramp and see if he can do any damage.
And he's going to, when he realizes he can't, he's going to send those Hellions over to the brand new. I guess he's not going to build a medevac, he's building a Viking. If he built a medevac, I would say he's just going to pick up those Hellions and run right into the main base with them where he could do some decent economic damage. But that barracks on the far right side pumping out those Marines would definitely keep the medevac from dropping very easily. And we do see a tech lab actually coming down for the STC as well as a second gas. And no second gas coming out of Tasia yet, so
yeah, he's going to fly the starboard home after making one Viking to escort it, so to speak.
So the STC is continuing his map control with these Hellions, and Tasia right now is spreading out all of his forces along that top ridge, probably expecting having his own Viking to ward off the drop play that he thinks is going to come in, and his supply lead is again much better than the STC's, but the STC is going to start ramping up his own army supply right about now.
Yeah, the STC, I wouldn't be surprised to see him take a really fast third command center, knowing that he's so far behind economically. And Teja actually takes the first third command center, and you see the third start for the STC as well. So you're going to be close to each other with Teja just in the lead in worker supply as well as economy.
I think the STC's placement of his definitely means he's going to be flying his out towards the third, whereas Teja has the option with his placement to simply saturate his natural a bit more before moving it out to the third base. And it's going to be Hellion versus Hellion in the middle of the map, 3v3. It's all going to be about positioning to see who takes out the lead in this fight. And it's one-on-one with the STC's Hellion having about 10 more hit points more than Teja's.
Yeah, Hellion duels are always so crazy to watch. They can go so horribly wrong so fast if you're not adept at microing those units.
The STC getting siege tank tech much quicker than Teja, but Teja getting another Viking out to be able to ward off all whatever medevacs may come in, or even if he brings them along with the army, he'll kill them a lot quicker so that the Raven can be safe from the stimming Marines, I guess. That doesn't really
Teja is starting to produce siege tanks. He just hasn't researched the siege tech yet. Not really necessary right away unless you're planning on hitting a timing with it. But it would really pay off in trying to defend if this attack that's coming across right now actually comes all the way across, and he's not going to have it.
Now we see a Raven out here. Is that for a forward auto turret to help take out the tanks in a fight, or is it for the defensive? What do you call it? Defense drone.
Yeah, it's made for PDD to stop Vikings or Marauders, as the case may be, but there are no Marauders. In a pinch, you can use the auto turret. It's not as good of an ability in general as the PDD is.
We do see the 3 barracks on both sides.
Although we do see the Raven, it was on a path to go up towards the base. And auto turrets are really good at harassing mineral lines, that's for sure.
And it looks like the exact opposite of what I said with the the STC's command center positioning. I thought he was going to move his down first, but Teja decided to move his SCV down quicker.
It turns out that orbital is really close to the natural, so it can get SCVs there pretty quickly.
It's much more helpful for the saturation, and these 2 Vikings are poised on the left for the STC to block whatever Raven play that Teja could possibly have had. Did he already lose the Raven? No, he didn't. It's in the far right. Okay.
Yeah. And here you see Teja learning from his mistakes a little bit. He is currently upgrading ahead of the STC, with his level 1 attack just finishing and the armor at about the same spot.
Wow, armory down coming at the same time. Both are getting double barracks. Both are getting 2 medevacs, a single tank, 3 and 4 Marines, stim, combat shield, and level 1 armor, all pretty much synced up. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, Teja is, just like I said, slightly ahead. He has a level 1 infantry attack, and it's not finished yet for the STC. At the same time, the same production facilities are coming down: barracks, reactors, medevacs are coming out 1 at a time, Marines are coming out several at a time for both players. The STC is adding another factory that'll help him in his siege tank production, which he already has the lead in slightly.
I was looking at the difference in supply and wondering what was up, and it looks like the huge amount of SCV difference for Teja is really paying off with, even though it's a higher supply of 20, there's also 20 more army supply stacked on the back of this.
Yeah, and I think that it won't be very long until he's done actually making SCVs, and everything will just go straight towards building his army at that point. He's got his 3rd saturated now, and he hasn't made a motion for a 4th base yet, so he'll just be upgrading and building units.
We do see vehicle weapons coming down right now for Teja, and I think he might wait until that's finished to do a real big attack, but we do see another factory coming down, as you mentioned. And the tech lab switch, putting a reactor on the brand new barracks, and he's going to go into pretty heavy 5 reactor barracks, 6 reactor barracks with 1 tech lab, and a big push into on these already siege tanks. Gives STC a big hit on these Terrans, Marines.
These Terrans, yes.
These Earthicans.
Teja, I think, is going to be the aggressive one here. He's putting up missile ring turrets to defend against the drop type plays. So you're gonna want to. He's gonna want to hold this watchtower as much as he can.
I think Teja's a bit thrown off that his push, which he thought was going to be so powerful, is already being denied by the very decent spread of the STC. If
It's
he
just
ran
really
up this
good
4th
defensive
one,
positioning.
yeah.
Same time we see auto turrets at the dropping behind the middle line of the 3rd, and they do, I don't know how much damage.
There's no kill count on an auto turret. A patrolling Viking over here keeps the drop from happening, but Teja's not going for a drop. He's going for that forward push. I think he actually might benefit from having a drop in here just to pull some of the forces back before he did a push, but
actually, what I think this is going to be is a hard contain. I wouldn't be surprised to see some SCVs come up and make bunkers and sensor towers and missile turrets.
Ooh, a big roundabout from the STC. I think he's going to try to flank and pick off these siege tanks one by one with a heavy stim.
These
and
Marines
a scan by Teja sees everything.
About 2-2. His upgrades have caught up. He's not behind anymore in infantry. His vehicle weapons are quite a bit behind, though.
And the STC is definitely losing this. With that scan saved Teja's butt. He had the big concave on the STC, and Teja's taking the lead right now.
Teja has plenty of energy in these medevacs to heal that army up. And we see the SCC having to remake some medevacs here, and that's going to take some of his gas away. He's also, these players, ridiculously good macro. He's, under 400 minerals at all times.
We see 3-3 coming out of both, and two level 2 vehicle weapons, but the siege from Quanix STC is taking down the supplies to about even, although Teja's now new siege tank play, and this one Viking is going to get picked off by Teja's reinforcing forces.
He could actually load up and drop Marines on these siege tanks and just win the fight, but I don't think he needs to do anything drastic right now. Actually, he just runs forward into him and kills him. That works too. Picking up the Vikings, he has complete, well, not really air superiority. He has division control of the many medevacs as opposed to the not very many of the STC.
And the STC is going to lose his command center that was headed towards this 4th, while Teja's 4th is fully saturated, planetaried,
so
and
about to
ready
get double
to go.
dropped on. So he's going to fly right by the 4th and go to the 3rd where there's no planetary, but he is going to fly into 2 missile turrets. All medevacs, he's done.
6 Marines die in that medevac, and a number of SCVs are getting
the
killed.
Other one, he does drop at the 4th, but there's a planetary fortress and a siege tank there, so it's not going to do him a whole lot of good other than killing a few Marines, and he just GG's out of the game.
Alright. From Chaotic TV, we want to say thanks for watching. I am Chaotic.
This is Eclipse.
And we hope you enjoyed watching Game 2 between the STC and Teja. Cheers. Am I even wrong? Are we missing a 3rd replay? Didn't the STC take Game 1?
Yes.
We don't have a 3rd replay then. We don't have the tiebreaker. Fuck.
How did you manage to lose that?
I didn't. It just wasn't in the replay pack. Well, it looks like we can't find the 3rd game, folks, so it was not included in this replay pack. I will tell you that Teja won, and you can actually find the video on demand at sc2links.net. So, hope you guys enjoyed watching Chaotic TV. I am Chaotic, and he is Eclipse, and we will catch you the next time. Cheers.